What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode. Crazy stuff, man.
I don't know why that song always gets me freaking hyped. The AI cooked on that one. Oh my gosh.
Did you see the message from chat that I shared while that was all going on?
No, where did you put it?
It said Garrett is a hunk of man meat.
Oh, you know it.
I just wanted to put that up there for everybody to see while we were waiting.
See how chat reacts. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Practically Reality Podcast, episode of 18.
Woot woot.
You are a part of a podcast that has now been streamed over 1,000 times. Woo!
That is big accomplishment.
In the last month. So that means we can run ads and you can make us money. Just kidding.
That means Declan is no longer unemployed. Let's go! Friendship goal accomplished.
Yay!
Unemploy your friend. Achievement unlocked.
Now I can earn 50 cents an episode. Woo! Still going negative for all the software, but that's okay.
It's fine. We'll get there eventually.
Well, welcome, guys. We have a super exciting episode. We finally did it.
We broke the curse. We got a guest, guys.
It's been a couple months that we've been trying to do this. You think it wouldn't be that hard, but it is, honestly. So we are excited to have a friend here with us today. I'm going to show you some of his art before we have him on. So his name is Connor. He is a concept artist, and he has worked on some games you might recognize.
Connor is the guy behind
Boom.
SailVR, guys. Like, I honestly attribute a lot of the success of SailVR and the pirate attire that we sell in the pirate attire shop to Connor, because he is the concept artist that came up with the legendary designs. So, like, this is one of Connor's concepts. This is the Frenchman, Blackbeard. We got tons of stuff from him. He's actually the guy that did the logos for Hard Drive and the new logo for SailVR. So, like, literally, if you see art related to SailVR, more than likely, Connor is the guy who did it.
He's also worked on a project that some of you might know called Monkey Do, Monkey Dookie, Monkey See, Monkey Poo Poo. It has many names.
It's evolved over the years.
Yeah. So, yeah, Connor does a lot for a lot of people. And he actually even worked for a little bit at a little indie dev studio called Riot Games, working on a game called Valorant.
Oh, you know, just a small studio, Riot Games.
Yeah, so he we'll let him tell the story about this skin line, but this is his own original character, original content skin line that made it into the video game. So pretty cool stuff. So without further ado, let's get Connor on the podcast.
What's up, guys?
Dude? Welcome to our absolute disaster of a podcast.
This is awesome.
No, man, how's it going? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week, but I made it on the podcast. I felt so bad. I remember Declan like posting something about, he's like, oh, like I think you made a post on LinkedIn. You're like, how do you guys like get someone to actually like commit to showing up on your podcast? Like Declan asked me, I was like, dude, I'd love to. And then like I got super sick and missed like a week of work. I was like, man, I feel like I shouldn't like skip work. You know, like right after I got back after being gone for a week, I was like, are you cool if I postpone? And Declan was like, it's fine, man. It's just our lives.
Just our lives.
I was like, no,
It's our lot in life.
And I still did it.
It's literally that's happened to us so many times with so many of the guest speakers. Like literally the day before on one of our last guest guys, he was just like, yeah, I can't. I was like, okay, that's fine. Maybe some other time. Felt like a kid like asking their parents if they can come out and play. Like, please.
Yeah.
No, dude,
We had
thank you so
one,
much for coming on, though.
Yeah,
Dude, thanks for
we're
having me.
super excited to chat.
I'm super excited to be here. So I appreciate you guys asking me. I feel special.
Yeah, you're the first one, man. You will
You
always
should.
be our first.
Heck yeah, dude.
Anyway, chat, if you have any questions for Connor, we're going to be talking to him. We're going to do our gaming wins and losses first here. But if you guys have a question for Connor about his ability as an artist and how he got into the art world or whatever, please put them in the chat, guys. We'll try to keep track of those. So as we start talking to him, we can address all the questions you have for him. But let's do our gaming wins and losses. Who wants to go first? Connor, you're involved with this, man. But I hope you have a good gaming win or loss for the week.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down, like, Declan texted me and told me to think about that. So I had some time to prepare, which was nice. So I can go first if you guys want.
Dude, hit it.
Okay. I'll start with the loss so that we can end on the win.
Not a
the
good
positive.
note. All right.
I don't know if you guys saw, so like Marvel Rivals has been doing really well, I guess, like relative to the competitiveness of, you know, online multiplayer shooters, stuff like that.
We are fans of Marvel Rivals here on the podcast.
Well, there you go. I was just reading that NetEase Games, I guess, helped work on Marvel Rivals, and then they just like laid off their director and the entire like dev team that worked on Marvel Rivals.
Oh my
I
God.
saw that. That is the craziest thing. Oh my gosh.
I don't understand the whole situation. I think I was reading that like multiple studios kind of helped contributed, so it wasn't like the entire team of Marvel Rivals was let go, but it was kind of crazy. Everyone's just like, oh, I guess like if your game does well or not, you're getting laid off in the game.
That's crazy.
That
I
is
did not
crazy.
see
That is weird. Yeah.
That was wild to read about.
I'm looking at an article on this, and it's saying NetEase confirms Marvel Rivals layoffs, says cuts were made to optimize development efficiency for the game.
For the game, they have like literally no one.
All I care about is that the skins keep looking as good as they've been looking. That's all I care about. Like, please.
Garrett's in it for the booty.
I'm in it for the gooner bait, bro. Like, come on. if the next skins ain't as pretty, man, I quit.
He's
Going back
super
to
excited for
Overwatch.
Thing. Get some of that rock cheek.
That is
well,
a major L though. I'll agree with you. That's a good L. Declan, what's yours?
So an L for the week. Have you? I don't know. You probably haven't. Riot Games, like, got rid of the chests inside of League of Legends, and that's been a huge controversy for like 2 weeks. So they used to give away tons of free stuff, but now it's impossible to unlock chests, to unlock free skins and get characters. They're thinking about getting rid of the in-game currency, maybe transitioning the game to pay to win, so you have to actually pay for champions again. And then amidst all of the controversy that they've had about all this monetization stuff, they just dropped a $300 skin for the third time this year. So that's pretty big.
$300.
Yeah, it's a gotcha skin. It's a gotcha skin. So you have to buy like a lottery essentially, and then you're only guaranteed it after you spend $300.
Wait, how much are they exploiting that for a single skin on a single character?
Yep.
How is
That's
that
like the
legal?
fifth one that they've so
Yeah, how's that legal?
some devs came and said, like, we've been losing money, so we need to have more skins for the whales. And then another developer came on and said, that's fake. That's not
Hashtag
real.
skip for the whales.
The theory is they want to get rid of their American audience and exploit their Asian audience because they go crazy over, I guess, gotcha mechanics and stuff in video games. So that's just what I've heard. It's pretty crazy.
Jeez, cracker.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't love that at all.
No. So they're even considering maybe going like pay to play, getting rid of their free to play game completely. I don't know.
That'd be wild. Like
Yeah.
that's like they're the pioneers of that.
Well,
Yeah,
and like on top, why is it that there's so many studios doing this right now? Like, this is not the only instance of a studio completely like turning their back on what made them great. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff with Rainbow Six Siege going on right now that's been interesting to watch because there's been a lot of back and forth on what's going to happen with that game, which is another great game that suddenly the studio is like, actually, what if we change the way we've done this forever? I hate that,
Yeah.
bro. I hate that.
Well, if they're really like hard pressed for money, I have an idea. Maybe don't spend $100 million on your next anime, and that'll probably help a little bit. I mean, I loved Arcane, but like if you're really that hard pressed that you're charging $300 for one skin, then maybe tone down the graphics just a little bit, maybe like 50 million. Like I feel like you could still make something pretty cool. I don't know.
Tone down the
Just,
graphics
just an
ever so
idea here.
slightly.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly. Goodness. Oh, that is definitely an L. Oh man, that
Crazy.
is crazy. I'm trying to. I had an L and now I forgot it. So I'm just like,
L is Garrett forgot.
the L is my brain, bro. Like, let's be honest here. Oh my gosh, no. I was getting like let's just move on to, since we are short on time, we want to make sure we get to the Connor stuff. I just want to move on to the dub. Did you
Okay.
guys see? Do you guys play Rainbow Six Siege at all?
I
Connor?
don't.
No,
I've
Okay.
seen it. I've
Okay.
played it like twice.
I like.
so.
Yeah, I generally know what it is, but
Okay, yeah, it's a game. Okay, so I have a funny story with Rainbow Six Siege. I was there for when it was originally announced. Like, I
Oh,
was
wow.
there when the trailer dropped and everything, and I was like, "This looks like the coolest game ever." At the time, I was not an owner of any console system, so I didn't get into it like right at the beginning. But then recently, I've gotten back into the game. It's a super competitive game. It's lasted for 10 years. And
Yeah.
recently, there's been a lot of rumors that they were going to release a Rainbow Six Siege 2, which the community just totally was like, no way, bro. Like, do not do that to us. Because it wasn't like they weren't going to add anything to it. It's going to be like the Overwatch 2 situation.
yeah,
That's
like-
so dumb.
Just an update because they needed to get rid of the tech debt. Anyway, but I feel like they listened. Ubisoft was like, hey, you're right. That would be stupid for us to release a whole nother game. So instead, they're preparing this giant update that's called X. They're calling it Rainbow Siege X, which is basically going to get like re-established. They're like, basically, they made a new game, but they're releasing it as an update, is what I'm
Okay.
gleaning from it, which I think is a major W. Like, it's really cool to see that they saw the community's reaction to the idea of a Rainbow Six Siege 2, and they're like, yeah, that's probably a stupid idea. And they
Yeah.
flipped around, and then they're making this awesome, huge graphical update / gameplay update, getting rid of a lot of their tech debt and stuff. Really cool. I thought that was a major win. Major
Yeah.
win to see a big studio actually pay attention and
listen
For
to the
sure.
community.
make it happen.
That's what Overwatch 2 should have been. They like changed
Should've,
5
yeah.
characters' names, and that's about it. So
And made their skins worse, man. They weren't Gunnar worthy.
oh my gosh. Well, I'll go on my positive just so Connor has the last positive.
Deal.
I saw that POW World has sold like 52 million copies,
That's
which is
awesome.
pretty dope.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love to hear that so much.
Yeah.
In
So
spite of everything that has happened to them, the uphill battle they have had to fight against one of the titans of the gaming industry, they're still hanging on, and they've just absolutely legendary. I love hearing that.
yeah. And I guess the other small one is new characters coming to Marvel Rivals. So that's a plus. Always a
Not
plus.
from NetEase.
More characters. Yep. No, it's their last ones.
They're done. There's no more Marvel. There's no
Yep.
more Marvel characters they could possibly
Nope,
put
that's
in the
it.
game. That's it. They're done.
Comics are full. They released 4 characters in 2 months, and they're done.
That's it. Yeah, they fired NetEase, and no one can do it anymore. Jeez, at that point, just let the modders in, bro. Like they'll make better skins than anyone else could in the game.
Gunnar worthy
The
skin.
Gunnar worthy skins, I do say. That's gonna be the new thing that my chat rips on me for. It's like,
That's
bro,
the
is
ne-
this
the
Gunnar
next
worthy?
The next
Gunnar
shirt.
worthy.
The next merch.
Next merch drop, guys. Oh, which by the way, guys, Connor is the guy who made our legendary Breadbox logo. So you guys have him to thank for the legendary Breadbox stuff.
I love the idea. I remember you like talking about it, or like when you sent me, the idea and kind of gave me like context. I was like, what the heck? So I was reading all about like the guy making the sourdough bread, and then it must have just created like a subconscious of sourdough bread in our house, because like now my wife like got sourdough starter and she's been making sourdough bread like crazy. Which is
Breadbox has
delicious.
infected a household.
Which is delicious.
Dude, it's good. So funny enough, my family actually has gluten allergy, so we can't have bread in my
Oh,
house. And yeah, I'm like famous for my bread box analogies.
The cognitive
That's funny.
distance.
Ironic.
Funny.
That's awesome.
Well, Connor, what's your win?
I need to be more in the loop on gaming news, but I decided I do a shameless plug for sale. Today I was at work and I was doing something on the VR headset, and like the Horizon feed popped up and was like, "Hey, have you played Sail? You should play Sail."
There you
So,
go.
I was like,
That's
"Hey,
what we
you
love.
play
That's
Sail."
awesome.
Yeah, a big update just dropped today. We just dropped throwing knives and our new what we're calling Legend Forge in the game,
Ooh.
which is a new achievement system that we just added, and we're super excited to see how the community reacts to it. So, yeah, big
Sick.
update in Sail VR. It's out now on Steam and Oculus, guys. Go check it out.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Great, man. Well, Connor, let's talk about you, man. Let's have you just kind of introduce yourself, like what you do in the gaming industry, maybe a little bit about like how you got into that and everything like that. And let's just find out what it's like to be a game developer and technical artist, right? So we'll just turn it over to you, man. Like, let us know.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's see. So yeah, I studied animation in school. I went to BYU. They have a pretty good animation program over there. So that was like the only thing I wanted to do. So I applied 3 times to get into that program. And
Wow.
then, as soon as I got into the program, the professor was just kind of like, "You guys need to be aware that you're not very good artists. If you want to be better, like you got to work your butt off." And just like put that fear into us to like work hard and improve our craft.
That's
It was
awesome.
really good though, because like, you can't do it on your own. He's just like, you're not competitors with everybody that's in your class. Everyone is like here to work together to help one another. He's like, so become friends, ask one another for advice, like get constant feedback. And so that's what I did. I made some amazing friends. And I feel like I improved just like so much over a short period of time because of that. And then I guess that kind of leads to so I took, a million art classes. One of the classes was like a figure drawing class.
Okay.
And I remember our class was all animators except one guy in there was an illustration major. And I just like sat next to him one day and struck up a conversation, and he was showing me his work. And I was like, "Dude, this like your work is amazing. Like it looks like it belongs in like World of Warcraft." And he was like, "Oh, that's funny you mentioned that. I just applied for an internship at Blizzard and Riot, and I'm waiting to hear like if I got, an internship." And he didn't get the internship at Blizzard, but he ended up getting the internship at Riot.
Okay.
And he worked there as like a character artist, and then he ended up getting hired there as like a character artist. So like I had this
had an
in
in.
at Riot.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And so I'd always just be asking him questions, asking for feedback like on my portfolio. And it was just like I just happened to sit next to him in class one day. And then when kind of near the end of my schooling, I was applying for different internships, and I found the Riot internship. And so I was asking him like a bunch of different advice of like kind of how to do my application, like what information to put on there, how to set up my portfolio. And I feel like he was pivotal in giving me just like great advice. He's like, "Oh, like, this is the kind of work they want to see." Like he was saying that when people apply for an internship, and this is probably good to know for any internship, he's like, they don't want to see your original work. It's like, it's great that you're creative. It's great that you have like original ideas, but like when a company is looking for someone for an internship, they want to know that you are able to like make stuff that like can fit in their games, and then like that you're passionate about their games. If it comes down to like 2 amazing artists and one person like loves League of Legends and one person hates League of Legends, then like, or like doesn't care about League of Legends, I should say, they're gonna pick the person that like loves League of Legends because they're gonna like be super excited about making like awesome stuff for the game.
That's funny you said that, because I actually recently interviewed a contractor, and I kid you not, his starting sentence in our interview was like, "Yeah, I don't really like Sail."
I'm
Like,
here to
okay,
fix it.
like writing notes.
Dude, like I kid you not, that was like the first thing he said in our interview, and needless to say, he did not get the job.
I mean, why would you? Why would you like?
Like why? Like it was insane to me that that's how he like started off the interview. It was just like, "Yeah, I don't really like your game Sail." I'm like, "Well, that's what would pay your salary, so bye."
Seriously though, fucking
That's,
lie.
that's awesome.
Lie longer. Jeez.
An interview should be renamed as "Kiss Butt Until You Get Money."
Exactly.
It's it's easy to like kiss butt if you actually do like something. So when I was applying for the internship, I really didn't play like League of Legends that much, but they had an internship. Valorant had just come out, and they were like, "Oh, like we have a weapon concept art internship," and I was like, "Well, I like weapons, and I'll play Valorant." So I tried Valorant, and like I got into it solely for like this internship, and then I was like, "Oh, I actually like I enjoy this, and like have like choose to play it like when I have time in the evening and stuff like that." But anyway, so for my internship application, I made like a weapon skin line that I felt like could go into the game, and that was actually pretty crazy. Like they contacted me. They're like, "Hey, like we saw your application. Like we want to kind of start the interview process for you for this internship." And so like I met with like a recruiter, and then I met with like 3 different people like at Riot. One of them was a
Wow.
concept artist on he was like an environment concept artist, and then the next one, she was the producer for the premium content. So like
Oh, cool.
any weapon updates or any premium content, so like battle pass stuff, skins, gun buddies, all that stuff, like she was the lead producer on that.
Cool.
And then the final guy was the art director for the premium content team, so like the art lead for all the weapon skins that go into the game. And when I interviewed him, his name's Sean, he goes, so I guess I should give context. So I designed like a weapon skin that was like an octopus that was like the ammo pack that is like attached to this gun. So I thought it was cool to have like this living organism on top of a gun, and the way you reload is you like punch the octopus off. And so
That's awesome.
yeah, like I just had all these fun ideas with it. I just like tried to own the idea as much as possible. And so when I interviewed with Sean, the art lead, the first question he asked me is like, "Do you know about like the octopus lore in
In
Valorant?" And I was like, "No, like I have no idea." He goes, "Dude, somebody came up with a fan theory that Omen, like one of the characters, is like secretly this octopus." And he's like, we're like obsessed with that fan theory. And he's like, because of that, we put octopuses everywhere, like in the game. So if you play
nice
and you see like, I feel like every map has like a mural of an octopus on the wall.
That's funny.
And like octopus gun buddies, and just like wherever they can incorporate octopi, like they do. And so he was like, are you the guy that did that? Are you like,
Are you
aware of,
theorist?
like,
You've infiltrated the company. They
Dude,
didn't
I
know.
had nothing to do
It's
with
just a theory, a game theory.
it.
Dude,
Anyways,
that's legendary though. That like you
I-
like without knowing, just like ended up doing what they wanted. That's amazing.
so I think I have to think that kind of played into them being like, man, this guy's cool. Like he totally like owned the octopus thing. But he's
That's
like, I've
awesome.
been waiting to ask you. He's like, I was hoping you get to this round of interviews so I could ask you specifically about that. But anyways, then I got the internship, and I did the internship. So that was back in 2021. And it was awesome. I had a great time on the internship, and I worked on I made a couple skins that made it like into some battle passes, which was super awesome. So yeah, I can talk about that, or I can just kind of finish up my game journey.
Yeah.
No,
So
I-
what do you like? I feel like we should move on to like what are you doing now? How'd you get to there? Like what do you like to do? What do you? I don't know. Yeah. Just like where are you at now?
Yeah. So post internship, the internship, like I finished it, and they were like, "Hey man, we love you and we love your work." I was like, "Thank you. Like I'd love to work here." And they're like, "We don't have a position for you. Sorry." And like, I was like, "Good luck," you know.
You're super dope, but you gotta leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's at NetEase Games.
So yeah, it was that was like it was really discouraging because I essentially like did everything right, and then like it just didn't pan out. I was like, yeah, like we should need more senior people on our team, or like we just don't have enough. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess that makes sense. But anyway, so I was still. Oh, and I should point out the internship was remote because it was like in the middle of COVID. Like
Ah.
Los Angeles was shut down, so I stayed here in Utah and like did the internship all online. I did get to go down and like meet a lot of the people from the internship, which was kind of crazy. Like I worked with them like every day for 3 months, and then like meeting them in person
That's fun.
was super
Nice.
fun. Like super amazing team, just super nice people. Great friends that I like still keep in contact with. But yeah, afterwards I was just trying to find like contract, just picking up like whatever odd jobs I could around here, doing commissions for friends, just trying to pay the bills. And then one of my buddies from the animation program, his name's Kalen. He's super talented character
Very
artist.
talented.
He actually works at Leica now. I don't know if you guys
Didn't he
knew
work
that.
for? Was he the one that worked at Pixar for a little bit?
Yeah, he worked at
Yeah.
Pixar. Yeah, he's
He helped
the
with some of the
beast.
Sail characters.
Yeah,
for a
he
little bit,
did.
didn't
He did a lot of the modeling on the characters that are in Sail single player and are now going to be in our next update, which is going to be our PvE update.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Bringing them back.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
he was working on Sail, and so I went out to like lunch with him one day. And he goes, "Oh, like you're looking for work?" He's like, "I'm working on a pirate game right now, and they need like weapon designs for that." I was like, "Cool, man! Like I need work, so and like, drawing pirate weapons sounds awesome." And so yeah, then they got me connected with. It was when you were working with Continuum at the time,
Yep.
so they got me connected with Michael, and like then yeah, they didn't even interview me. They're just like, "Okay, so yeah, like here's what we need, and like we need it by Friday." I was like, "Oh." I guess I'm hired.
So yes, sir.
That was Connor's era of looking at men with tribal tattoos at work phase for a Hawaiian project. Every time I'd walk by Connor's computer, he was looking at pictures of,
Boiled
like-
up Hawaiian guys.
yeah, it's like The Rock without a shirt on.
You know, okay, wait.
Gooner
That
made
actually
it
brings up another question I think would be
Gooner-worthy.
awesome. It was
Yeah.
Gooner No, but Connor, like I would love to have you walk us through like your creative process. Like how do you come up with these awesome ideas and turn them into the concepts and stuff? Like what does that look like to you?
Yeah. I mean, I just really love pushing like crazy ideas and stuff. So I would say whenever I kind of get an assignment, I always try and reference like what's been done. I like think about games that, you know, I like and stuff. Also that kind of like fit the prompt. But then I'm always like, I mean, like what crazy thing can I do to like push this even further and kind of like essentially make it a little unhinged and stuff like that.
Heck yeah. I love.
So yeah, like I'm always like on the hunt for like what hasn't been done before, like what's some crazy idea that I can push. Oftentimes it's just like things that interest me that I kind of like throw in there. That's the cool thing. That's what I've always loved about like concept art is really just like pitching ideas. I think like when a lot of people see concept art, they see like polished concept art of like, hey, like this is like the concept artist painted this and then like we made it. But what they don't show is like all the iterations that go into that. It was like early sketches and crazy ideas. And then, you know, through rounds of feedback and the team like working together is usually how they come to that like final, hero piece that they use to like create the game and stuff. But like the ideation phase and just like the pitching crazy ideas, that's my favorite part because that's like you're kind of given this platform. It was like, all right, well, like come up with ideas, and at the moment, like we're open to all those ideas. And so then I just like throw everything against the wall, and I'm just like, yeah, like put an octopus on the gun. And, like,
Here you go. Here's some good ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So this is from Monkey Do, and yeah, this was like super early in the project where it was just like, yeah, look, you know, it's the game where monkeys throw poop at each other and they wear crazy hats. Like, what do the crazy hats look like? So yeah, it's that one, the one that you were circling.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
That one's name is Supreme Leader Butthead. That helicopter, I was pretty proud of this, and we didn't make it. I wish we had, but
Oh,
it's
that
called the
one was cool.
Helicraptor.
I like the cow.
Oh yeah, that one was actually, I think that one was Mike's daughter's idea.
Okay.
She did like kind of really, I mean, she was like 8 when she drew them, so 8-year-old drawings. And but I really like that. I kind of like interpreting like the challenge of just like, okay, like what was she trying to do? And then I was like, oh, maybe it is like this cow that's like eating the grass on top of the monkey's head. And then I think somebody else on the team was like, what if like a UFO is like abducting it and the cow's like spinning around?
Those are legendary.
So I think that's another thing, is just like showing like just sketching ideas, pitching things that you're excited to your team. And then like your team kind of shares, they're like, oh, what about this? What about this? And like the collaborations where like all those ideas kind of get like layered together, which is really fun. And so like being open to other people's ideas and whatnot is like another big thing, big part of my process, I would say. That was kind of like the pig gun that you were sharing from my
the Divine Swine.
Like that was, I feel like that project was just like a series of like happy accidents where it was like we were drawing stuff. Like I was drawing stuff, I'd pitch it, somebody else would give an idea, I'd throw their idea in there, and then it would inspire another idea from somebody. And yeah, just kind of like snowballs. And like when people get excited about it, that's like when they're sharing the best ideas and they're like thinking about it, outside of work, or like when they don't have to. I feel like that's just kind of magic in like concept art and game development and stuff, is like when people are just so stoked about the idea, they can't help but like
think about
those ideas like in their free time,
No, I remember with a lot of the Cell VR concept art, like as soon as you gave it to me, like I was instantly sharing it with the community because I was like, this is so freaking sick. And I just like wanted to get that feedback as well. Cause like, you're totally right. When people catch on to that, it's addicting almost. It's like, you want to see the excitement that other people have for the stuff you created. And like I feel like every time I've worked with you on anything, that's been the case. It's just create something crazy.
Yeah. Well, and actually like the way that you like share content with your community, that was like, I'd never really worked on like a project like that where I'm like showing it to the creator of the game, and then like it's like your decision if you want to share it or not. And it was like really cool. Like I feel like a lot of like feedback came from that I wouldn't have expected. Like you share it with the community and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like we love this aspect of it. And it's like, oh, I thought that was like the least cool part of it, but if like 1,000 people like we should totally run with that and like see what else we can come up with. So
That's
I really
awesome.
I like the challenge of like pushing something further, and when you think you're out of ideas, like you still like have to like keep pushing in and seeing like what you can come up with.
I like that. So like, I think some people would probably like to know, like, what are your go-to software? Like what do you use to create your art and stuff? Like what's your go-to tools? What do you use? I think some people here would probably be interested in hearing like, what does your tool belt look like for your art?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been drawing since I was like 3 years old. There's an artist that I followed on Instagram that talked about, he's like, everyone actually like draws. And he's like, but then a lot of people stop. And he was like, for me, I started drawing, I never stopped. I thought that was like a really cool way of, like that's kind of how artists come to be, is just like, yeah, we all draw when we're young, but a lot of artists just never stop drawing. So for me, I really like drawing just like pencil and paper. I feel like I'm a lot more a lot less precious like with my work, and I can just doodle like a bunch of just random ideas on a piece of paper, and like it doesn't matter if they overlap, it doesn't matter if it's a bad drawing, like I'm just sitting there like thinking out loud essentially. So pencil and paper is like a good go-to for me, especially like starting off. But then I really like using, and this is the name of the app, I didn't name it. I like using Procreate app.
I like procreating too.
Procreation, nothing like it.
Don't Don't we all?
Don't we all?
But I really like the Procreate app on the iPad. I remember a lot of people like in school. I was using like the Cintiq, like I draw in Photoshop on like the Cintiq or on the computer or whatever, and I really liked it. But I was just like, man, like I feel like I'm never on campus. Like it's always like such a chore to get on campus, and if a drawing takes a long time, I gotta like be on campus for hours on end. But then I noticed a lot of the students had iPads. I was like, that would be so amazing. Like I could draw like at home while I'm watching a movie. Like I could work on my homework. And so like I made the investment to get an iPad and stuff. And like it was like one of the best investments ever to just have that accessibility and have it with me. Like, yeah, anyway, so it's a great tool to have, and I use it literally every day.
Okay. All right. iPad and Procreate and pencil and paper. They often go too. Nice.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously I use like Photoshop and Illustrator and other things to kind of, Illustrator's great for doing like really clean vector art. And like Photoshop obviously is a great tool as well.
Okay. Do you feel like as an artist, like if for someone who's trying to get into the industry, do you think like they need to have that wide, like breadth of ability to use tools, or do you feel like it's okay to like specialize? I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
I think, let's see. I think being open to learning and open to learning new tools and trying new things is just a super important quality to have in general. The industry is changing and adapting a lot, and I think being able to like do, like being able to like learn new things on your own is like really important. That said, I think it's important to try a bunch of different things, but then find the tool that you're comfortable with. Like for me, I really like using the iPad, but I have like a lot of friends that are like, oh, like I have to have like this ergonomic setup. Like I have to be sitting at the computer. I just like think better when I'm in that situation.
Okay.
And then like I've seen a lot of people, I don't know if you've seen those tablets that like, so they have tablets that you can draw directly on the screen, but then they have tablets that are like flat on your desk and people like draw on those. And I like cannot do that. But I've seen like Alex Konstad. He's an incredible concept artist. Like I was watching him and like, that's what he draws on. I'm like, I literally don't understand how this guy draws and paints so good, like on that. There's just like such a disconnect for me.
Huh.
But the iPad. Sorry for the screaming.
We all got kids. We got it.
Yeah.
So,
No
but
worries, no worries.
yeah, like for me, the iPad feels like a pencil and paper, and that's like what's most comfortable for me.
Okay.
man.
One more question I think we should talk about, seeing as like you are a traditional artist in today's world of AI. What are your thoughts on AI and how it's impacting your job? Would love to know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Everything that's been happening with AI. I feel like when it came out, like so many people were like, artists are dead. Like it was like, it's the end, just give up now. And like I was seeing like one of my friends, he started a company that, well, I shouldn't even say started a company. He was attempting to start a company where he would illustrate like children's books like with AI. And I was like, that's
Ugh,
No
that's
thanks.
the worst.
No thanks.
as far as I'm aware, it didn't. But then like obviously, with like how the generators are trained and how they came about, like with the scraping of artists' work from online, obviously a lot of the art community was very outraged and like opposed to it, and they were fighting against it, understandably. I think my thought with it is it's like it's not going anywhere. Like no amount of fighting or resisting it is going to like make it go away. Like it's here and it's here to stay. And so learning to use it as a tool and like learning to use it as like to improve efficiency, I think is the way to go. So it's really great for coming up with like crazy ideas. It's really great as well for like if you're pitching something just like really quick to someone, like you can generate something and then paint over it, kind of like edit it if you need to. So like I kind of use it in my workflow. It's been actually really cool, like with the Breadbox logo. You had like generated something and you're like, I like this, but like we need it cleaned up. You did that with the hard drive logo as well.
Yep.
Like I did this, but like we need it cleaned up, and then also like I kind of want these other elements added. And I feel like that was kind of my first experience. I was just like, wow, this is like actually really helpful. That I who knows how long it would have taken to come up with like that.
Yeah.
When you had sent me like the Breadbox logo, I was like, man, that probably would have taken at least a few hours to kind of get to this point. And then, there's more work to kind of enhance it. But it was like, you got there in however long it took to generate it. It was like, this is a great foundation. And then we can like build on that.
That's awesome.
Like you actually doing that, like helped me realize how I can incorporate that in my workflow. And so I do that with like my other freelance work as well.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
Speaking of which, I might have another job for you to do in that exact realm where I made a logo that I need you to clean up. So stay tuned. You have a job.
Yeah. Deal.
Garrett's handing out jobs like candy now.
Yeah, I'm just rolling in it these days, starting podcasts and whatnot.
streaming
a lot of
life.
real money.
Just say you like sale and you got it.
Start your sentence with you like sale, and the rest of the thing is history. You hire on the spot. I don't know why I went into mafia boss, but I did. We're good.
You doubled down, you committed. I respected that.
Oh, we're good. That's good. Oh, that's awesome, man. Is there anything like in the gaming industry about art that like any trends you're seeing that are either exciting or concerning to you? Like, I would just love to get your thought on like graphics in general and like where art is going in the industry. And just like, is there anything exciting about that? Or is there anything like that you're just like, that's never going to work?
I feel like I guess going back to your AI question, I feel like things have kind of stabilized with AI. Like I remember, AI came out and it almost felt like weekly. There was like, now you can do this in AI. Like now you can generate like full movie trailers. And it just like felt like all this stuff was coming out. I was like, what is the point of this? Like, who's going to use it?
What is the use case? No kidding, dude.
Like it just felt like all these like crazy tools and stuff were popping up that I was just like, I like don't even understand who would use this. But now I feel like I'm seeing a lot more where like I can see the practical use case of it and I can see the value of it. And I feel like it's kind of stabilized where it's like all the hype has died down and now like it's just kind of like the useful stuff that people are like, oh, like, yeah, that is a good tool to use. Like we use one at work that I can't remember what it's called. But they're not paying me to promote it, so it doesn't matter if I remember what it's called. But I can show it to you. But it was really cool. Like you could just put in like a pencil sketch, and then it would kind of render it like a photograph. And that was really great for like client work that we were doing at work, because I feel like all the time people ask us for a concept, and they're like, "Why does this look like a cartoon?" Or like they just like don't understand that like the pencil sketch will eventually be the 3D model, but like with that tool, it was just like, hey, we're kind of thinking it'll look like this. And there wasn't that disconnect. They're like, cool, I understand what that is. I like it. It's approved. I was like,
nice.
That was awesome. We spent like a minute on that sketch. And then, yeah, I've been seeing, like there's different AI tools for like, you can draw a picture or something and then it'll make like a 3D model. And I was like, oh, wow. And it like optimizes it for, whatever purpose that you need it for. So yeah, I guess that's my long answer of saying, I think the practical tools like survived the hype wave. And
for sure.
That's kind of like, it's nice that it's not just like a constant bombarding of, look at all this AI tools. And now it's like only useful stuff's left over and everything else kind of died off.
Yeah, I feel like something similar happened with virtual reality, with the whole metaverse craze. Like every other week you heard about some new metaverse, this, that, or the other. And now it's like, we only have what's left, which was what was there before it all went crazy, which is Meta, PlayStation, and
Yeah,
HTC. Like,
Yeah.
that's
just what it is.
that's like a really I remember like when metaverse like the term was introduced, I felt like everyone was using it. It was like, what does this even mean? Like
Oh my gosh, bro.
they're not
Oh
even
my gosh.
using this word correctly. Like,
It's funny though, because like that was the time that I was actually raising money to build Sail multiplayer, and so it was a perfect time because I was like, "Oh yeah, pirate metaverse, my guys! Like, get on this ship and let's set sail." You know? And it worked out great for me. But holy crap, like right now, I have some friends who are trying to raise money for like their VR studios, and they're having a hard time because everyone's like looking at VR right now, and they're like, "I don't know," but I feel like we're gonna see a similar thing with AI. Like we've seen the practical applications. Like there's things that actually make sense, and then
For
going
sure.
forward, it'll just like only the things that actually work will stay. They're not just throwing money at stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
yeah, so that's nice. I like that trend. I like the trend of practicality.
I think we all do. Most normal people do.
That's why our podcast is the Practicality Reality Podcast.
Let's make it even harder to say. Practicality, reality.
It'll change every week. The name
Yeah,
of-
exactly.
Different word every week until we hit the eventuality, practicality, reality cast. Blah, I'm done. Stop there.
Practically actuality.
Cool. Chat, if you guys have any questions for Connor, now would be a great time to drop them down there. If you guys want to know anything about what it's like to be a game artist, a concept artist, drop them in chat and we can ask him here and now.
Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit about it. I think like as developers, we're always curious about how it goes down on the other side. I feel like it's weird. Like developers and artists, I feel like sometimes don't get to sit down and chat a lot, depending on where you're at. Like luckily at Continuum, we've got to sit down and I got to dink around and, pester the artists all the time, stand over your shoulder and like, hey, doodle something. No. But I think a lot of developers don't get the chance to sit down and talk about like what artists are thinking. And like the more I learn about what artists do and what developers do, the more I realize like how similar our workflows are a lot of the times. So
Yeah, it's actually I feel like my experience, I don't know, like I don't think anyone said this, but it's kind of like the developers like they have like their tasks and they're like trying to accomplish all these things, and then sometimes like the artists like have their task and they're trying to accomplish things. And I've seen it a lot of the times where like developers and artists butt heads just because like the developers are like, we're trying to program this thing, like it needs to be like this big, the rig needs to like operate in this way, it needs to be optimized for the game, and the artists are like, yeah, but like what about all these crazy things we want to do? And then it's like they don't really like communicate until it's just like, oh well, we already spent a lot of time developing this crazy idea, and it's like, well, we spent a lot of time developing this prototype, and then it's like
yeah,
when you try and mash them together, that's when like problems kind of arise. And so now I feel like at work we've been really making like a big effort of it's like, this is like we want this weapon in the game, so then it's like, all right, artists, we're gonna make a super simple like white box or like a really simple model that is like not meant to look good but just to like function,
yeah,
to figure out like the proportions, to figure out everything. We'll give it to the programmers, they can use that to do all their prototyping and testing. And it's like, and then once they have that in a good spot, we'll design something that like fits with like what they have like created. And so yeah, like when developers and artists like work hand in hand, they that's like when the project runs smoother. But then like you're able to design something that like complements like its purpose in programming. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and I agree. I one of the people that we worked with before, Ethan Hunsaker, said
Oh, yeah.
art is like building the outside of the car, and development is like building the engine, and you can't really have a car without either one of them.
Hmm.
But like good collaboration between the two makes a good car. Like you have
Yeah.
to be able to make something that actually functions and like is fast. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I think that's like a great description.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, no, it's always been fun like working with you, Connor, because I feel like you were always really good at like taking feedback and just being like, yeah, like we'll just like we'll try that, you know. And I was like, that's like seriously, like if I were to say as someone who has hired artists in the past, like if that's one thing you can develop as a skill if you're trying to get into the industry, do that. Like be someone that you can work with. Don't be like offended when someone like has critiques on like your work. It's part of work. It's not a personal affront. It's just part of the work. And Connor was always been a great example of being able to do that. So
Yeah.
that's been
Thanks,
fun.
dude. Yeah.
Always.
I think it was like in school, I remember working with people who were like that, where I remember one time we had like one of my classmates, he like made something and he's like, hey, can I get feedback on this? I was like, sure. He goes, by the way, I'm not changing anything. I was
It's
just like,
perfect, man. Turn it in.
that's
See what grades you
literally
get.
what I said. I was just like, okay. So I showed it to him and I was just like, looks good. He's like, thanks, dude. And then like, he showed it to the professor. The professor gave like all the feedback I was going to give.
By the way, I'm not changing anything.
It was just like, what was the point? That was such a waste of both our time. It's time for me to like look at it and just be like, nice, like, good job.
Very insecure guy, I guess,
That's
about
funny.
about his art.
I
Ooh.
see Funny VR had a question. It says, how hard is it to make models or how long?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the model, depends on like the style. Yeah. I guess I'll answer by saying like it just takes practice. Like learning modeling software, Blender. I use Maya, but I think Blender is great, especially since it's free. But yeah, it just takes practice to like learn all the tools, learn all the hotkeys, learn all the workflows. Troubleshooting, like when some technical problem comes up and it's like not working. I feel like I'm much faster now when like a technical problem comes up. I'm just like, oh, like I know what this is. I've like had to troubleshoot this thing like 20 times before.
Yeah.
It's this easy fix. So I would say with modeling, also like plan on those kinds of issues, like expect technical, you're never going to be perfect. You're going to forget something or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a lot longer to fix it in like 3D modeling than it is on concept. So I know I can't really give an exact time frame, but it depends on what you're making.
Yeah, I think like for me it takes a lot longer because I don't have experience with Blender. Like I tried doing the donut tutorials, man, that thing freaking if you want to learn Blender, jump online. There's a guy that does like free Blender classes and you do the donut. That's like what
Donut.
80% of people I've seen.
Blender Guru.
Yeah, the
Right.
Blender Guru.
Yeah.
But it's so
He's
hard,
great.
man. Yeah, he is.
But yeah, no, I totally get that. And I feel like for me, like I'm so used to Maya, and so whenever I try and learn Blender, I feel like I'm like unlearning Maya, and then because I'm just so used to it, like I just have such like muscle memory for it, so I have the hardest time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think we are coming up on time. I know Garrett has to jet, and we're about to hit that hour. So we really appreciate you coming on, Connor. It's been a lot of fun.
Man.
Like,
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I definitely learned a lot. I love talking about art. I love talking about the projects that we work on, and you're one of my favorite people to chat with and come up with unhinged, deranged ideas. So you should never leak our chat of all the stuff that we send to each other.
Bunch
That'd
of
be
oiled up
disastrous.
Hawaiians. Like, what
It was a phase.
We're always talking
goodness.
Well, we want to end. The last thing we normally do on episodes is give a AAA game and an indie game recommendation. So we'd love to hear some of your recommendations about things that you like.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I love games. I'm pretty so yeah, when you had asked me to like give those recommendations, these I'm pretty sure I guess like I understand that AAA games are like really big games or whatever. But I'm pretty sure this is defined as a AAA game, but if it's not, oh well, regardless, it's a great game. So for AAA games, the game I recommend to everyone is Deep Rock Galactic.
Heck yeah, dude. That's a
Ooh.
good one. That's a
I
good cut.
I my Steam says I have 250 hours on that game.
Yo,
I continue to play that game.
let's go.
So I love that game so much. It has everything I love: dwarves, heavy machinery, mining.
That's all you need,
I
man.
yearn for the mines.
The children yearn for the mines.
Yeah, that game is
Excellent.
fantastic.
Excellent.
I just continually come back to that game because it's just so freaking fun.
That's awesome.
And then for indie games, I am pretty sure this is an indie game, but I don't know. Declan actually recommended this to me, and it's Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Heck yeah, dude. We talked about this last week.
Did you? Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Someone
No,
actually
it's
listens to
perfect.
Declan's. Someone actually listens to Declan's recommendations. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Jet
Well,
Set
I
Radio,
remember-
Bomb Rush.
Because you were telling me about it, you were like, "Oh, do you know Jet Set Radio?" And I was like, "I don't." But then you showed me the game, and I was like, "This looks so cool." So it was on my Steam wish list forever, and then it went on sale over Christmas break. And I was like, "All right, I'll get it." And I bought it, and I think I put in like 40 hours over Christmas break
Heck
playing
yeah,
that
dude.
game. And again, that game, I love like the kind of cell shaded graphic style of it.
Yeah.
The graffiti in that game is insane.
Oh yeah.
I saw in the credits. I mean, I think they hired like 50 different graffiti artists
That's so cool.
to come up with like different styles and different designs and stuff. I was like, this game is so cool. So amazing recommendation, and I would recommend it to you guys.
All right, we'll take it. Declan, you go next.
Okay. I actually have two games that I believe now are owned by the same company. They
Oh.
weren't though when the first one was developed. So one of them is developed by originally a studio called Hopu Games. It is called Risk of Rain 2.
Oh, Risk of Rain.
I think I've heard of
Yes.
Risk of Rain.
Oh,
Yes.
so good. So much fun. That's probably one of the games I have the most time put into. If you want a cheap game that's fun to play with some friends, Risk of Rain is really good.
That's
And
a roguelike, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a roguelike, but like every run's super different because items spawn in different areas. You play the same maps, play against the same things, but you do different builds based off different characters. And it's actually started as a 2D game, like a 2D platformer. So Risk of Rain 1 was very different than Risk of Rain 2, and they took it into a third-person FPS roguelite. So great game, inspired a lot of other games, one of the best, I think. And then they actually got purchased by the company that makes Borderlands. So Borderlands 2.
Oh, your box.
Yep,
Okay.
Gearbox owns
Gearbox
Hopu
games.
now. So I wouldn't recommend. I don't like 1 as much, and I don't like any of the newer ones as much, but Borderlands 2 is like one of my core memory video games from when I started college. I played tons of Borderlands 2 and right towards the end of high school. So great first person looter shooter. If you haven't played one of those are a ton of fun. You just have so much gore and violence, and then you just get shiz tons of guns. It's fun. Would recommend.
Borderlands. They just released Borderlands 4 gameplay at State of Play. Did you see it?
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I mean,
Okay.
I'm skeptical. You know, Borderlands hasn't had the best track record. Like the games haven't been bad. They just haven't been anything like crazy or anything. But
Yeah.
I think Borderlands 2 was like the crowning jewel for me. Everything else is pretty much just the same thing. Just I don't know. Borderlands 2 is and like the art style. I don't think that goes out. Like Connor was talking about the cell shaded. To me, like Borderlands is like the king of cell shading in the new era, where
Absolutely.
they really put that art style back on the map for their
Yeah.
design choices that they
Right.
did there.
That is literally what I think of when people say cell shading is
Yeah.
Borderlands. Like it's great. Works so well. They just leaned into it 100%. It just made their whole game that much better.
Yeah, and it ages really well.
It does. It's one of those timeless things, whereas
Mm-hmm.
other graphics can struggle when it comes
Yeah.
to it and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a great one. Great
Pretty
one. Yeah, so for my recommendations this week, like what is defined as like a AAA studio, because the one that I want to recommend as AAA is like they're not an established studio, they're new,
Okay.
but their game, I've been loving it. Have you heard of, what is it called? Delta Force?
Delta
Wait,
Force.
Am I saying that right? Delta, I think it's on Steam, it's free to play, and
Okay.
it's what Battlefield should be, basically.
Ah, that's cool.
And I have been loving it. I've been playing it a ton, like at night, like when I go to like play some games to like relax before bed. I've been playing this game a lot.
Okay.
It's called Delta Force. Right now, it's only
Okay, I
on
see it.
PC. But they say that they have plans to bring it to all the consoles, which I'm like,
That's dope.
heck yeah, let's get a freaking Battlefield competitor in here. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I've had a ton
It's
of fun
free to
playing
play.
it, and it's free to play, which is crazy. Like
Did you say it's new?
it's fairly new. I've been hearing about it for like I want to say like 6 months to a year, but it's in like an early access state, I want to say.
Okay.
Cool.
But it plays like the old Battlefields did. Like I got into Battlefield at Battlefield 3, like Bad Company, and that's like what I've been looking for ever since. And I just like never saw it, but this just feels like that. The way that they have their game mode set up, it just plays like classic Battlefield. And you choose an operator. The operator has special abilities based off of that operator. You know, you're working for objectives. Fantastic game, fantastic gameplay. Been absolutely loving it. And then for my indie game, I've been playing a game on VR called Contractors Showdown Exfil. So,
what a title!
Yeah, it's quite the title. But Contractors is like, I don't like. This is the thing, is like, I don't know if they would be considered an indie studio anymore, but they're like one of the bigger studios in VR, but they're still a VR studio. And they made this extraction game.
It's like Tarkov. Okay.
It's like Tarkov. Yeah, it's like Tarkov. There's another game in VR that a lot of people know about, Ghost of Tabor. But I feel like they like ideated on Ghost of Tabor and made it just a little simpler in a lot of ways. And I personally just love the movement mechanics that Contractors has. And they just like basically copy and paste that over from their other game into this game. So like the movement feels good. The looting feels good. They kind of went with like a more cartoony look instead of like hyper realism. So like it just looks better in virtual reality. It's been a lot of fun. I've been doing it. It's got a lot more of those survival tactics to it. Like Tarkov, where it's like if you get shot in the arm, it's like you can like apply stuff to your arm or your leg and stuff. Pretty fun, pretty crazy. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty cool VR game. I've recently gotten into it. But I can recommend it. It's been a good one.
Is it on the Oculus Store or is it just Steam?
It should be on both. You have to buy the game Contractor Showdown, and then it comes with it. Like I think they're trying to create more of like a platform type thing where it's like you buy one game and it's access to a bunch of other games. So like when you buy that game, you also get access to their Battle Royale, which is literally like a 1-for-1 Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone in VR.
Cool.
Also a ton of fun, and I can highly recommend. But yeah, so their new Exfil mode, it's in alpha. They say it's like an open alpha test that they're doing right now, but it is a ton of fun. I really like it. I think they're going in the right direction with it. And yeah, I would highly recommend it.
Heck yeah.
Sick. That looks fun. I'll have to check it out. I'll put on the old goggles, the pair goggles.
The old face toaster.
I'm an old man. It hurts my head. So.
Get a better strap.
Hey, I need some of that sponsor. Get your sponsors to send me something. Come on.
I could probably send you one of the ones that I don't use that are sitting around here.
Hey, there we go.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
That's why I do this.
With benefits.
Well, awesome. Yeah, thanks again, Connor. Thanks for coming on, and it's been a ton of fun, very enlightening. Yeah, I mean, good luck with what you've got going on now. Hopefully Garrett doesn't skimp out on you on this contract that he's offering you. And
hey, I just pay what he asked for.
Thousands.
It's reasonable. Kind of like $100 million.
No, this has been super great. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I was telling these guys before that I've never done a podcast before, so I was honestly like a little nervous because I talk a lot with my hands. I move around a lot, and I've like been noticing that I've been doing that. But
you're good, man.
I just own it, you know. Yeah, like that's just how I talk. But no, this has been super awesome, and it's fun to see you guys like doing this podcast and like talking about what you guys are so passionate about. I mean, like when I was watching some of the episodes, I was like, this is like what we talk about at this same like energy level
Yeah.
when I talk with these guys, So
Now,
just
brings me
really
back
cool
to
to
those
see.
Continuum days, dude. When we're all down there, we waste hours just like, what about this?
So it'd be like dead quiet, and somebody's like, "Hey, like, has anyone played this game?" And like the whole office, would stop working and like have a conversation about getting into like an argument about that game.
Yeah, if anyone's wondering why it took a year and a half to make Salviar single player, now you know.
It's Connor's fault.
I blame
It was
Declan
me.
exclusively.
Whoa! All right. No wonder I was the first one to get fired.
Feels so bad.
We're all good. We're in a happy place. We're good.
We're good.
It's all good. We're fine.
Uh,
No, that's awesome, man.
But thank you guys. This is super fun.
Dude, you're gonna have to jump on stream with me one of these nights and show me Deep Rock Galactic, because that's a game I have wanted to play, but
Dude.
I've never had anyone to play with. So me, you, and
Dude.
Declan, we should jump into it.
let's
Let
do
me
it.
know. Yes,
dig
I
dig
will
a
play
hole,
that.
man.
I
Dig a
am a
hole.
dwarf and I'm digging
Oh,
a hole.
That's right. Wind
Diggy,
Rose
diggy
actually.
hole.
they
Diggy,
wrote a-
diggy hole.
Let's go.
Wind Rose actually wrote a song for Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh, that's
called
dope.
Rock and
Wait.
Stone.
That's amazing.
I mean, like, you gotta like a dwarf rock band.
It
Yeah.
works so well. It works so well.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
definitely
epic.
check. And it sounds like every other song they've ever written, but it's still so awesome. So
That's
Rock
cool.
and Stone.
Rock and Stone. We're gonna start doing band recommendations.
Wind Rose.
We had
Well-
a book recommendation last week, so
That's right. Hey, got to do a different kind of just like spin the wheel of recommendations.
Water
Awesome.
recommendation. Liquid Death.
Not sponsored.
Ghost. That's my water recommendation.
There we go.
Actually, drink water. My recommendation.
Mountain.
If you
water.
guys want to make Garrett drink, get on his stream and make him rehydrate. That's what I do.
I
every
don't
time
have
get
that
on.
alert set up right now, though, so I can't actually do it. Not on this stream, but if I'm gaming, y'all can go to twitch.tv/GarrettTheGamer and hit me up with a rehydrate.
Heck yeah.
There we
Awesome.
go.
Sick.
Well, cool, guys.
Connor, wait, really fast, Connor. Do you have any socials or anything? If anyone wanted to check out like your art in the future, anything they could go check out that I could share with them?
I got off social media. I've been back and forth about getting back on, but yeah, I got off social media. But if I do have my art posted again, I'll let you know.
Cool.
But yep, I'm an old man.
Don't want to hear about these young kids. No, that's totally chill, man. I'll definitely share that with my community if you ever jump back on, because I followed your Instagram account for a while and it was always fun to see new crazy stuff you're coming up with. But
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
no worries, man. No worries. Anyway, well, I think that is it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Practically Reality Podcast. We go live every week on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And if you don't catch us live, you can catch us on any of your podcast networks, wherever you get your podcast. You should be able to find us, right, Declan?
Yeah. 1,000 people have.
1,000 people found it. We're cooking now, folks. Anyway, you can catch us live on YouTube and Twitch on Wednesdays, and then the video, or not video, but just the podcast goes live on all the podcast networks afterward. And if you want to stay up to date or give us podcast topic ideas, join the Garrett the Gamer Discord. Should be linked in the description. You can give us ideas there, give us feedback, and just hang out. It's a good place to hang out. But yeah, that is all from us, guys. We will catch you next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Thanks
Maybe
again,
we'll have
Connor,
another
for being the
guest.
first ever guest on Practically Reality. A
We
legend.
did it.
It'll go down in history. Not flood in now. There's no
You always
excuse.
remember your first.
Non-stop guests after.
They're gonna see Connors and be like, nope, no way I'm not being a guest. on-" Just kidding, man. You did awesome. Thank you so much again for coming on. All
Thanks,
right.
guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. That's all from us, boys. Salute to the Gooners. Goodbye.
For super.